Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Babatunde Adibola, and I'm the Executive President of the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs, a not-for-profit organization federally registered in 2023, June 16th to be precise. The objective of this video is to share with the immediate membership of the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs of the changes and the strategy that we've adopted for the year 2024. It's also available for stakeholders within the public who might be interested in knowing what we're doing and how we've made our decision and why we believe that regardless of what the economic situation might be, that we're poised to make genuine impact in our community. I'll be taking you through the presentation, and I urge you to please sit back, relax, and enjoy what hopefully will be an informative session. Thank you very much. All right, so I believe you can see the slide. This is the main slide I'll be using for this presentation, and I welcome you to join me to listen. So in 2024, our focus can be summarized as the fact that we're repositioning for greater heights, and we're very optimistic about this. But let's go into the document itself. I would like to start by saying Happy New Year to you. For us, 2023 was a fantastic year in every proportion. At the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs, we set out to create awareness about our organization, and we did just that. And we're even more excited about what 2024 is going to present to us. Back in 2023, we had a mission, which was essentially to create a vision to facilitate wealth creation by nurturing the entrepreneurial potential of Black professionals of Nigerian heritage and to maximize their abilities to impact their communities positively through their inherent social aptitude. Our mission statement was very much in line with that, and we registered the organization on the 16th of June 2023 in the country of Canada, and we set about to work. The key offerings were to provide access to network of Nigerian community. We set up a collaborative platform on WhatsApp where we have a number of people, close to 200 people there now, that interact on a regular basis, have opportunity to contact each other. We also do have special days where we encourage people to share their promotions, flyers, upcoming events for other people so they can take advantage, people can take advantage of their offering. So we do that, and we're happy with that. We've also provided some training. We did a training, for instance, on how people can write grants, how people can access grants. Sometime toward the end of last year, and we had good participation at that. We've also provided access to funding. We had a collaboration with Face Coalition to present an information session on how businesses or aspiring entrepreneurs can tap into the $160 million that has been made available by the Canadian government. So we've made that available. And then we had what we call the virtual connect sessions, where we had individuals, Nigerians who have done well for themselves in their businesses. We brought them to speak to us, to tell us, share their stories, share their experiences, and hopefully learn from that. So our mentorship strategy was one-to-many, not one-to-one. And again, we had very positive feedback. But if you wanted to know, how did ANE start, the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs? Well, my name is Emmanuel Adibola. Again, I have a background of having worked in Accenture. Accenture is one of the leading consulting firms across the world. I was there, worked as a staff of Accenture for 12 years, and I'm very active within the alumni community of the Nigerian Accenture office. I continue to look for ways in which I can retain my interaction with this pool of people, because they've been wonderful. I had a wonderful career in Accenture, and so I came up with different initiatives, one of which was how we can continue our engagement outside of, being staff and employees. it became clear to me that while the idea seemed good, maybe the timing was too early, so it didn't really sail, as it were. And then about the same time, I was also invited to the Business Network International to be a member of the chapter in Milton, which I participated in. There were just about 30 people. A number of the people there are very respected people in the society, people you probably see on the billboards. And initially I was excited, say, wow, I'm the only Black person here. But then after a while, I realized that as much as that was true, I was also in the minority, and I thought I could better use my time by within people that looked and talked like me. And so I decided I was going to, see how we could set something similar to what BNI was doing, but now made up of Nigerians who had different businesses. Because one of the things BNI does is that no two people from the same industry are in that group for that town. And so that was one of the things I tried to incorporate in ANE, or what has become ANE at the onset. Also, I registered at the Milton Chamber of Commerce just to understand exactly what they were doing. And I got a lot of value, benefit from being part of this group. Again, I saw that there were very few people that looked like me in those interactions, which I thought we could do a better job of. And so in February of 2023, I went to company of a friend called Philip Otutu to meet with the mayor of Milton, just to see what opportunities were there for Black businesses or Nigerian businesses at the time to engage. And then we got a lot of insight from that discussion. Later that month, I went in company of yet another friend, Tunde Itayo, who I've known for almost 20 years or just over 20 years. And we met with the MPP of Milton, Pam Gill, who's also the Ontario Minister for Red Tape. And so we just sought to understand what the opportunities were. And those two meetings were very important. So now I will show you that was actually the beginning of the organization. So if you look at this slide actually shows you the entire journey of 2023. The meetings I talked about, you see there in February. But after those meetings, then we set about to try and find people who are like-minded, who could support us. We brought people one by one, tried to refer people. I met with a lady I had just been introduced to in my church called Moriah Olujobi. She came on board. And then in April, I met with two people. One of them was Nena Oboma, who I had known from afar, but I met her at an event and I shared about with her what we were doing. And then she bought into it. One of the things she noted, because at that time her name was Alliance of Nigerian Professionals, she said, but what I described to her was like an entrepreneurship endeavor. So she said, if you guys are entrepreneurs, then why don't you reflect that in your name, which I thought was a good suggestion. So I incorporated that. And then about the same time, I also met a lady called Fola Omitiron, who was also at the same event that I met Dr. Nena Obama, and shared with her, and both of them, were on board. Subsequently, three other people were introduced by Nena. There were Chichi Okiche, Tina Ogunbiyi, and James Ugogu. And three of them came over. So from 3, we became 4, we became 5, 6, and we became 9. And so we registered the organization in June, and then we had our first major public event in August. It was a breakfast session at Pure and Simple in Burlington. And we had about 23 people in attendance, three adults and 2 children. And it was good. I mean, it was a good time to interact with people. We had, people from the community came in. There was a lady called Modupe Ehilaye who came around, which was good. There was a doctor called Dr. Dr. Kemi, and I forget her husband's name, Okwe Guna. They were there, and we had a fashion designer called NK African Print. She was there as well. So we had a good time, and it was we had Abby Consulting. Abby Consult was there as well, and so we had that session, and then following that, we had a shelter visit. We actually had 2 shelter visits. One was in Mississauga and another one in Toronto. Why? Because we recognized very early that we want to make impact in the community. And then we also had the virtual connect sessions I talked about. The first one was, facilitated by a man called Ayo Shokefo, who's one of the owners of Go Cheap Foods. Then secondly, we had one led by Mr. Tony Banjoko, who's a pharmacist, and they shared from the wealth of wisdom. We had a very good time. And then in November, on Remembrance Day, we had an event in the town of Milton. I was very well attended. It was a panel discussion where we had people like Uche Okugo, who's he's the coordinator for African and Caribbean markets, representing the city of Brampton. We had Lady Abba Adejisola Atiba, who's the president and founder of CNP, now CAP, and also she's the president of Rotary Club in the town of Milton. We had Modupe Hilai, who's the host of Talk with Mo. We had Mufuti Sanusi, who's the owner and operator of Chick-fil-A in Mississauga. And last but not least, we had, in fact, we had two more. We had Isaac Olowolafe, who's a wonderful investor, dreamweaver, dreammaker, and he was there as well. And then we had Kingsley Madu, who's a technocrat who owns a company that's provides a mobile application. So we had these wonderful people. On that day, we had members, leadership team of A&E were actually given a certificate each, recognizing their contributions. And we capped off the year with an Owambe party that was very beautiful, well attended by people from different areas, and we had a good time. We also had a webinar that talked about the financial webinar in collaboration with Face Coalition. So we had, this is, so a group, we had membership platform, which started with just about maybe 8 people. In August, ballooned very quickly to over 165. I think we ended 2023 with 165 people. These are just some pictures from the various events that we had in 2023. Very beautiful pictures. There's a lot more, but because of, to manage time, I've just shared a little bit, but you can see we had fun. All of the events we did were well attended. We had a good mix. We created awareness. Our focus for 2023 was to create awareness, and trust me, we did. If you have not heard about ANA before now, maybe, I don't know, but within the Canada, Ontario, Southern Ontario, we did create awareness, and we're very proud of those accomplishments that we made in 2023. And I want to especially recognize and thank our leadership team. At our peak, we were 9, and these are the people, these are the individuals. Our vice president, I was the president. Our vice president was Nena Obama, Dr. Nena Obama. She actually had her PhD in the course of the year, and we are happy for her. We had Tina Otinoke Ogunbi, who was a director of business operations. We had Tunde Itayo, a person I've known for over 22 decades, was chief financial officer. Chichi Okiche was our director of communications. She was behind our Instagram live sessions, our Instagram posts, and even those on LinkedIn, and she did a good job of that. We had Moraya Olujobi, who was in charge of the HR and admin, and she also played a part in doing the work, developing documents, and she even took a stab at our first constitution, which she worked on. And then we also had Philip Otutu, who was in charge of our community engagement. Philip was the one that led the shelter visits that we had to Mississauga and to Toronto. We had Folakemi Omitiron, who was in charge of our special events, and she owns I think it's called the Print Perfect Studios now, where she makes branded items. And one of the things she did was to gift us with t-shirts, branded Alliance of Nigerian t-shirts in a short time with us. And last but not least, we had a gentleman called James Oguogo, who was our chief technology officer, and he also is the head of an organization called headquartered. I forgot to mention that Chichi Okiche is also the owner and operator of Coca Hair. So every one of those people are distinguished entrepreneurs in their own right, and they're pushing along in the right direction. I want to say a big thanks to all of them for the work that they did. Having said that, in 2024, we decided that we're going to make a strategic decision that was not going to just look at 1 year, but look at a multi-year time frame. And in light of that, we knew we needed to make some major changes that of gigantic proportions, because we're looking for a geometric progression and not only an arithmetic progression. And that's why we came up with a redesign of the entire organization, which had imprint on 3 things, 3 major imperatives. One, we needed to redesign our business operating model. We've changed our brand identity, and we're also changing our leadership structure to better reflect and to support our mission. So I'll start with the business model. The business model, essentially, prior to now in 2023, Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs operated like a typical association where you interact with people, have some events, social events, invite people to come. But now we've changed the strategy. We're focusing and operating as a chamber of commerce, and we have a number of activities lined up for the year. Some of them are quarterly, some of them are monthly, but every one of them is designed to bring out the best of who we are. And then we also, in the past, in 2023, the major benefit that members of the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs had, registered members, was that they had discounts on the events that we had, on paid events. But this year, we're going a step further. We're upping the game to actually ensure that we have benefits, tangible benefits that members can benefit from. There's a lot of them. We're discussing with different stakeholders, and we're very happy that we're bringing things that people will be proud of. So being a registered member, you will see value for the investment that you make. And then what we're also doing on the side is that we're embarking on a major project undertaking for the year. Our strategy is that each year we'll do those projects. We're either building or running it or making a decision to spin off or to kill the idea if it's not worth our while. So for 2024, we're setting up our Entrepreneurship Development Academy, and there will be 3 major levels. So we have the basic, which is runs for 12 weeks. We have the intermediate for 8 weeks, and we have the advanced for 5 weeks. And we're very confident that this will be a major, bring major impact in our community. We're not just doing it for the name. We're doing it because we don't want to be measured by how many people are in your WhatsApp group. Oh, 50. We have 50. Oh, you have 100. No. We believe there's a lot more impact we can make, and that is by really putting our mouth to what we want to be measured by. How many businesses have we helped to register? How many people have we helped to access loans? How many people are we supporting to hire people? Because there's a difference between being a self-employed individual and an entrepreneur. So those are the things that we'll be doing, and we're working hard to ensure that we assist and make impact in our community for that. Interestingly, we've also checked with the Canadian government that we see that what we're doing is actually very consistent with what the federal government of Canada is advocating for. Of the 40 odd million people who are Canadians, only 2.1% of business owners are Blacks. 1.6% of incorporated businesses in Canada are owned by Black people. And the 4.3% here makes us the 3rd largest racialized group in Canada. These numbers are very pathetic, to say the least. But we are also taking a recommendation by Statistics Canada which says that business ownership can actually be an important driver of economic growth by promoting innovation and job creation. So we're taking the bull by the horns, and we're also making ourselves available to say, okay, we're going to be part of developing and fostering economic viability within Canada. In terms of the Entrepreneurship Development Academy, this is the model we're operating. We're going to be, hosting the team, the cohorts here, but our faculty will be comprised of individuals who live in different parts of the world. Many of these people are very distinguished business owners in their own right. Some of them are very have a high net worth. Some of them are also very distinguished in the industries in which they operate. So we believe that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. And so whether they're in the US, or they're in Nigeria, or they're in Africa, or they're in UK, or they're in the Middle East, they will be facilitating these sessions, and we look forward to that. So that's our plan. We'll be starting the pilot phase in March, and I encourage you, please, when you hear about these things, plug into it. One of the things we're also doing is working with the government to see how we can subsidize these programs so that they're not too expensive for you. But I want to assure you that being part of this will be a major step in the right direction for you. This slide is where I'm sharing our calendar of events for 2024. We have a clear mind of what we're doing. The activities shown in light blue are online, while the ones in black are physical events. We're having the City Connect is one of the things we've introduced. City Connect will be a time where we go to each city, each regional city from month to month to celebrate, to share with the business community there and just interact with them, learn about them firsthand, because we organized a number of events last year to which they attended. And we, rather than wait for an event across each of these cities, we rather just ensure that we have a structured way in which we engage with them. So we look forward to going to one or the other as the year progresses. Next major thing we've done is to change our brand identity. Believe it or not, our name is official operating name is changing from the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs to ANE Global. And the reason for this are number one is that whereas before the intention was to focus exclusively on Nigerians, regardless of where they are in the globe. So we started in Canada. We're also looking at the US this year. Now we've decided that, look, the market's actually a lot bigger than Nigerians. And so we're looking to address and focus on the Black community and not just Nigerians. And that's why we forgot, rather than keep changing our name from Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs to something that is Black community, we decided just to emphasize the Nigerian, as it were. We're still proud, some of those of us who are Nigerians are still proud to be Nigerians, but the name has changed to ANE Global. So that's what we'll be known for going forward. We have a website, www.aneglobal.ca, which we are retaining, and we're also setting up a global website, the corporate website, which is .org, to cater for the larger international community. So that those two domains will be up and running. And we expect that we'll get traction from them. With that, locally in Canada, we'll always be, well, for now we're headquartered in Canada, and we're very proud of that, but we plan to go break into other markets. So that brings me to our vision and mission. As a consequence of these changes, we have a revised vision, which is a broader one. It's not different, but it's just broader. And our vision now is to facilitate professionalism and economic viability among Black-owned and operated businesses. Our mission statement is that we identify, nurture, and support aspiring and growth Black entrepreneurs to own and operate economically viable businesses through platforms that facilitate networking, mentoring, training, and accessing funding required to innovate, execute, and become established. We believe that this is the right place to be. We're not just focusing on a limited country, nationality, we're focusing on a broader group, but we're proud of our Nigerian heritage. So now the last segment of the imperative is that we've also had to change our leadership structure. So this is how our organogram will look like. We have a board of trustees that provides oversight, but then the executive team will be led by myself as the executive director. I'll be responsible for coordinating the special projects, the fundraising, business events. We have on Saturday, the 20th of January, we have our first Entrepreneur Summit. It's a maiden summit. It will be an annual event. We're looking forward to that because we've invited some very wonderful people who will be speaking at that event. And then I'll be supported by our finance director and our operations director. Three of us will comprise of what we call the level 1 executive leadership. And then underneath that, we have people who are coordinators who will take care of a lot of other things. So essentially, we're moving away from individual efforts to team effort. So these people will operate largely as teams. And that was one of the learnings we got from our first engagement in 2023. We are going to be outsourcing some functions like graphic design, web hosting, or email hosting. Those are things that are not core to what we do, but are equally important. But we recognize that we don't need to have those capabilities in-house, at least for now. So that's pretty much what we're strategy we've adopted. So our new leadership team for 2024 is what we see here. Our board of trustees, we have 4 individuals, wonderful people. Francis Idekwa is a pastor of a church, but he also doubles as a financial planner. He's a senior vice president with Greatway, and he's doing a great job of that. It's a privilege to have him on the board. We have Nkiru Omoro Tioman. Nkiru is somebody, a former colleague, ex-colleague in Accenture. She's here as a director at one of the companies here in Oakville. She's also the president of the alumni community of INSEAD, where she had an MBA. Philip Otutu, I've mentioned, was on the executive team earlier, but he's now gone over to the board. Same with Tina Ogunbi. The two of them were in the executive. So on the executive team, myself as executive director, Babatunde Ita will be the financial director, and then we've brought on Chukuma Okereke, an IT project manager, but with extensive experience in managing large numbers of people. He has very good people skills. He will be operating as a operations director. Then we also have a advisory board that comprises 2 people for now. We have Nena Obama, who would help us with socializing, getting information about other groups, how we can work together, how we can collaborate based on her knowledge of the market. And then we have Odo Effiong. Odo Effiong had worked in the public sector back in Nigeria, and now he's here. He's also developing contacts and networking, and hoping to leverage that with him. And then our level 2 leadership team are the wonderful people who supported us in various events over the last year. They've been tried, tested, and trusted. And we believe that working with them, we would have even greater success. They will be working in very limited capacity as volunteers. They are not working full-time, but we recognize their contributions nonetheless. We appreciate and value them, and we'll look forward to working with them. Many of them are distinguished people in their own right. Joanne Young is the CEO of Rubicon. In addition to being a project manager, she coordinates Rubicon, and Rubicon is doing a fantastic job of organizing social events. She brings in people like AY Live from Nigeria, different people. So she's doing a great job. Kemi Okwebuna is a medical doctor by training, or even by practice. She's working as a research analyst right now, and she's doing great things. Julia Bebiem owns and operates Grandeur with her husband, in addition to her day job, and she's doing a great job of that. She was the one that decorated the venue for the Owambe party that we had in December, which was well celebrated by people. To look, Onosoya leads a company called Pixie Doll. She's an MC, and she does a wonderful job of that. She's been anchoring our programs to great success. Mosu Afolabi is also worked with Rubicon, but she also does other things on the side. She's worked as a financial planner in one of the Canada's leading companies. Paula Kennedy is also a wonderful man who's run business in the US, real estate, and is doing that here also with his wife, Tisha, and they together run their businesses. We have Abiola Ibioye, who is our membership coordinator, and she's doing a great job of that, welcoming people and supporting them to on board. And then we have, last but not least, Grace Weda Ojotu. Grace is she I think she's a business analyst, but she also has a company called Spicy Jojo. She's into food catering and events. So we have a great team. So in summary, now in conclusion, these are the key events we have for January. The Entrepreneurs Summit, which is holding on the 20th of January. It's going to be exciting. Then we also have a City Connect, the first City Connect for the year, would hold in Hamilton. What's special about this is that it will give us an opportunity to finalize our plans for our Black History Month celebration in February. What we're doing differently is that we're focusing on a campus. It's going to be a campus symposium. It's to include the job fair, and to include a social event. It's going to be great. We're bringing together McMaster University, Redeemer University, and Mohawk College together, and they're all excited. The mayor of Hamilton is also working with us on that, so it's going to be fun. It's holding on the that one is holding on the 24th of February. And then we're also putting our money where our mouth is. We're starting Instagram series called Entrepreneurs Journey, where we'll be sharing insights and tips just to help people along the way as they continue this journey. So that's it. It's going to be a great year. We're looking forward to it. We're believing that this year there are things that we've planned that will be successful. We wish you well in all that you do. We want to be a vibrant part of growing Canada and other communities that we find ourselves. And we wish you well in whatever your endeavor is. Have a successful year. Thank you very much for your time. You can stop me at any point in time to ask questions about what you've watched. You can send me an email on emmanuel.adebola@aneglobal.org or Emmanuel adebola@anaglobal.ca. Either of them will reach me, and I'll be happy to engage with you. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good year. Thank you.